started as a traditional Malay dancer with traditional Malay dancers. I passed through a military college, the Royal Military College, one of the very distinguished colleges, sort of housing the creme de la creme of students with very good results. And it so happened that I was a scholar and I got a scholarship to do my matriculation in Australia, in Perth. I then attended the University of Western Australia, but I did my degree in engineering, mechanical engineering, because as you know, the countries in Southeast Asia were concentrating on development, and arts is not in the bargain. So you either strive to become an engineer or a doctor or something like that. But I think somewhere along the line, when I was in Australia, where the atmosphere is freer, I realized that I need to fulfill my own raison d'être by being myself and to fulfill my own gift. And even as a child, I was interested in art. I was doing a lot of painting, singing, dancing, but not formally. So in Australia, I started attending formal classes in dance, in modern dance, in ballet. I got to quickly get into the professional productions in Western Australia. And eventually, after I gotten my degree in '75, I was able to be admitted through very tough audition into the Australian Ballet School. This is the school catering for, say, only about 12 intakes per year, and from different parts of Australia. But I was not Australian, but they gave me because of my talent. So from the school, when I was at the ballet school, I graduated and I was invited to join the Sydney Dance Company, which is the top modern dance company. Though we were all trained in classical ballet and modern dance, but the company was terribly avant-garde. From then on, my interest was many branches. So I find that I was attracted once again to the Asian forms, and I was delving into Bharatanatyam and Odissi, and later on, as I was dancing, I was also dancing as a solo Bharatanatyam dancer in Australia. My guru was Ajay K. Lakshman. The Kalakshetra teachers had forayed all over the world, they had been all over the world, and there are always a Kalakshetra teachers teaching in Sydney or in Melbourne, or we can go there even in the 70s, so I did that. And after Bharatanatyam, I found Odissi, and I found that Odissi, with the music, with a more lyrical approach, was the kind of work that suited my temperament. So I went to Odissi, and this is around about the late 70s, or about 78 or so. Well, I heard the wonderful music of Raghunath Panigrahi, the late Pandit Raghunath Panigrahi, and I thought the music was something so evocative. It was very, very, very much the music that moved my soul, so to speak. And a friend of mine was doing Odissi. His name was Chandrabanu. He was also a Malaysian, and sort of we got on. So, and then I went to Puri in Orissa to continue. This was as I said, in the late '78 or so. dance, which is related to theatre, you really have to go to theatre. You have to make more effort. In music, you can just put on, you download music and you listen, because that experience of the sound is, although there's nothing to compare with live music, but it's there in the CD, you can appreciate it better. But not in dance, you really have to make an effort to go to a theatre to go and appreciate it. So dance and drama has a less kind of mass appeal, so to speak. Dance has to hit the impulse of the mass. Otherwise, it becomes too elitist. Becomes too much only people who has a strong knowledge or strong interest would go to say a Bharatanatyam, Odissi or Kathakali performances. Yes, it's an ongoing thing. We have to find a way in which to bring the audience, younger audience, to the theatre, and not just look at YouTube. Because now it's a digital era. Because with instant gratification, they change channel, they change YouTube. What is 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then that's it. The span, and that's not. It's not true for classical forms. Yeah, you really need to be engaged to go deeper, and I think this is a kind of challenge for a lot of classical artists. Audience have got to be rasikas. Audience themselves have got to know the work to appreciate it. Not just Indian classical, but even in classical, Western classical music, even in opera, even in a lot of the kind of higher forms. That's why we need patronage. We need support from the government or arts institutions. You need people, corporates to support that, because I think it's important that the civilization of society, community, nation continues with the classical work, taking into account that even the classical system have got to evolve. Yeah, it's not a purest essence, but an essence, because the word purity or authenticity becomes a bone of contention. People challenge, what do you mean by pure? But yes, there is an essence, but it's not an essence that you can place in 10 commandments or 10, It's not something that you can pinpoint, but something subtle. But there is an essence that you can say, and it's not for Odissi just the chauka or the tribangi, but it's something the way. And this also is a challenge, because Odissi or Bharatanatyam is no longer a kind of a property of South Indian or Orissa, because it has travelled, like ballet. It's no longer a Russian ballet, It has travelled to Europe, it has travelled to America, it has travelled even to China, Japan, So something has to change, So, and you can't be overly possessive about it, because it has become world property. Yeah. And this is a good thing, and it can be a bad thing also. But from the source itself, I think, say in Odissi, from Orissa itself, it has to also show that it is vibrant, it is growing, it is positively evolving. Yeah. Well, I think India has reached a certain critical mass. I'm not really worried about India. So you look at how painting, India's contemporary modern paintings have reached its own identity. It doesn't have to pay homage to the West anymore. It is very sure of where it is. And yet, there's thousands of artists around, out of job, talented and all that. You just have to fight through. But there is a critical mass of creativity and all that. So I think the fate of arts and dance in India is good. It's not safe. Nothing is ever safe in this world, but it's there. Malaysia is not so, because Malaysia there's at the moment, at this very moment, very unsettling situation. In India, I think there is a strong patronage from ICCR or the Sangeet Natak Academy, that looked after it. But at the same time, it weakens the dance fraternity because they are so patronized that things can only function within these bodies. Dance education and the 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 phenomena of nation building, it corresponds. I mean, I'm not saying that it's only through dance, but also through many areas of the social sciences, the sustainability of a character or the cultural ecosystem is coming all together like this. And this is why I felt that India sustained itself because it has a strong cultural roots, and that humanity is always there. And I think that dance, arts, culture, social science are the software that makes the character of a nation, and this is very important that we build it up through our dance education. I think dance education bring out that both the physical, emotional, and of course because of the divinity of Indian dance. Unfortunately, now with the global distractions in digital things, we find most teachers, when we talk together, we find our exasperation with the present young generation because they are so distracted that they are not able to concentrate on the depth of things. And I think the classical art cannot be understood in a surface kind of manner. You have to go deep into it, and I really think that the making of a great dancer, a great musician, great vocalist, and all that, there must be a guru shishya parampara. There must be a one-to-one. You cannot do it by Skype. You cannot do it by big institutions. You can popularize it, but you cannot make that great dancer. You cannot make a Bala Saraswati or Jasraj through just talking to 20 people. It's got to be a one-to-one. Since I was 40, I have detached myself and looked at myself and how movements are no longer possible for me, certain movements, because since I was a ballet dancer, I was virtuoso, so I was able to jump very high, I was able to turn, but no longer able to do that. But my mind is extremely active, and I'm very interested in new things, new artistic things rather than, I'm not that interested in new gadgets actually, but I'm interested in new ideas, new how people developed, evolved, because as you know that nothing stays the same, everything is changing. So I think if you embrace that, you don't feel old inside. Yeah, you keep going.